Hey guys, Phil here and welcome back to Kerbal's Space Program. Today on Kerbal's Space Program, we are going to be launching a rocket into orbit. We tried last time, but we failed. But this time we're going to do it. I promise you that we're going to do it. I've been thinking about the problem on our rocket and that this won't crash too. Doesn't have enough power. And the engine's too inefficient. And I'm thinking we can add one more set of solid rocket boosters, one more set of 2 solid rocket boosters, and we can hopefully just use the rocket boosters for liftoff and then use this one. So my plan is, the way I'm gonna make the staging is these are gonna go, or 2 of these are gonna go, and then 2 more are gonna go halfway up. We're gonna detach these, then these will go. In fact, you'll see what I mean as soon as I add another stage here. Are these the 2 decouplers on the side? If you guys want to see a rocket building tutorial, just leave a comment down below and I will probably just go ahead and make one. And when this detaches, I want to launch these. So when these go off, or when this detaches, I want to launch this when it pushes away. So that should work. I need to replace this engine. It is way too inefficient for the use that we're going to be using it for. And because by that time we're already going to pretty much be in space, I can actually choose a rocket that's much more efficient. Hopefully by that time we're already going to be in space. Actually, I should mention that. I don't know if we're going to be in space. But we can actually just choose a rocket that is much more efficient. Does this fit? Ooh, it will. What's the thrust? 220, 50. But this is, oh yeah, this isn't going to be doing very well in terms of how much fuel it uses. 390. Max thrust 220. But what's the fuel thing? Gimbal range 0.5. I don't know any of this stuff. This is thrust vectoring though, which is going to help us out. Max thrust 50. In fact, I'm gonna go with this one, and if we don't get in orbit by then yeah, we'll just have to switch it out for something else. What I will do, however, is I'm gonna add a fuel tank down here, and I'm going to have to be very careful though, because now it seems like the bottom stage hopefully will even out the weight on the top stage. I do not know if this top stage is still too heavy, but if it is, then we're gonna run into some problems. But anyways, the This Won't Crash 3, let's go ahead and launch this. We'll go ahead and save it and launch it. 3 iterations of an orbital launch vehicle. And let's jump out to the launch pad as soon as it loads. Again, Kerbal Space Program in alpha, not optimized, at least not as far as I know. And on my multiplayer comment I made in my last video, not 100% accurate. They said they might work on it, but they're not working on it now. Just to, you know, fix myself on what I said last video. We have Bibbly Boblin Booty, can't say that name. We have Billy Boblin Kerbin. Finally got it. As our pilot again, let's jump into the capsule with him. Oh, lovely. He has a little port window, that's nice. Let's go ahead and leave. And we are going to be launching the, what is it called again? The This Won't Crash 3 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff of the This Won't Crash 3, headed for Kerbin interplanetary orbit. I think that's what it's called. Probably not. All right, everything looks good. We're holding steady. The winglets are actually keeping us stable, which is pretty good. Our SAS has to do very little. However, it is flipping out, but we're remaining stable as a rocket overall. We're climbing, good, and as soon as we detach these, we should launch our second stage. There we go. Second stage away. Now we're powering up. And as soon as we launch the next stage, or as soon as we detach the next stage, what's going to happen is this center rocket right here is going to fire and carry us the rest of the way into orbit. It has a pretty large stack of fuel, which is awesome. I don't know what's going to happen. I think the weight on top is enough to equalize the force coming out of the bottom, because if we do push out more force from the bottom than we have from the top, then the thing will attempt to flip over. But there we go, that detaches, our rocket goes up. We do slow down a little bit, but we've already made it past the first layer of the atmosphere, which is pretty good. Let's go ahead and jump out and check our apoapsis. At the moment, it is at 22,000 meters. That's pretty good. It's still way too low because the atmosphere, I think, goes up to about 70,000 meters. I'll actually check. But we're at 19,000 meters. We're climbing, and everything is going good. Let's go ahead and start to make a little bit of a gravity turn. Nothing too major, just while we're in the atmosphere, let's start to point the rocket in the direction that we want to go in. That way, we aren't spending too much time correcting ourselves later on. That was a bus just outside. I will catch you guys when we are, I don't know. In fact, I might stay on and record this. This is perfectly fine. Hopefully, this won't crash and die horribly. Again, that's the name of the rocket, so we better hope. What is our apoapsis right now? It's at 49,000, 50,000. We are maintaining this nice little heading here. 50,000, 55,000, 56,000. I'm gonna try and hold it steady. Yeah, I'm gonna try and hold it steady about 70,000 feet, or meters, as it were. And hopefully, okay, there we go, 70,000 meters. We'll go ahead and cut the engines. And there we are, we're headed towards the apoapsis. Let's go ahead and activate the RCS and push our rocket over. It's a pretty big rocket, and I don't have very powerful RCSs or SASs. Let's go ahead and launch you, and I'm gonna give a little bit of thrust just to keep pushing ourselves out. And then hold that position. There we go. Hold it. Hold it. We're 54 seconds out from our apoapsis. We actually might get in orbit this time. Oh yes, this is amazing. 71,000 meters. How much fuel do we have left? We have 2 tanks left. We're definitely getting to orbit this time, guys. This is actually going to go pretty well. 71,000, we're going to hit it in 38, 37, 36, 35 seconds, and we are going to do a full burn now. 30 seconds out, we're approaching the apoapsis. We are picking up some nice speed here. 23 seconds, we better hurry up and build up in orbit here, otherwise we're going to end up not having enough. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have enough time to reach it, sadly. Let me actually push you upwards a little bit. I want to push the apoapsis away from me. We're running out of time. You want to make the most of your changes before your apoapsis, because afterward you're not going to be doing much to your orbit. And we're already starting to flatten out. 8 seconds on that. I'm gonna go ahead and push out further up. Hopefully we can, there we go, 8 seconds out. We're maintaining 8 seconds out. This is pretty good. 9 seconds, okay, good. We're not gonna hit our apoapsis any time now, and it looks like we actually might hit orbit. I've got to actually fire the next engine ASAP, because if I don't, then we are going to have a serious problem, because we are going to end up hitting our apoapsis, and we're not going to have enough speed to actually make an orbit. So I do think I need to upgrade the fuel tank on here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, launch. All right, okay, this might actually be a problem. We are, oh no, we're in orbit. We're good. This engine might actually work perfect. All right, we are how much out? We are pretty far out from our apoapsis. I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate all of our vertical. Ooh, that's pretty quick. I'm gonna eliminate all of our vertical speed, and I'm just gonna focus on building our horizontal speed. This is going to be kind of a wonky orbit, so I am gonna wait until I get closer to the apoapsis to do a full burn. But we're about a minute 40 seconds out. It looks like we're gonna do an orbit this time, guys. And hopefully the next episode we can start to refine our orbit, see how far we can push this, and maybe make our first trip to the moon by our 5th episode. This is actually looking really nice. We are approaching our apoapsis, so we can launch another stage. 84,000. And what's good about releasing my debris now is that it will eventually crash, so the debris won't be sticking around. These are our previous failures. The This Won't Crash and the This Won't Crash 2. And then we've got our This Won't Crash 3, which will actually make it into orbit, which is going to be awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and start burning outwards again. And hopefully by the time we hit 220 or 2,200 meters per second, we are going to hit our orbit. And let me actually cut the engines as soon as I see that we form that, so I can see what the exact speed is. Oh, there we go. 22,000. Yes, not 22,000, but 2,200. It's not bad. All right, let's cut the engines down like that. I think it's X. Yeah, X is to cut the engines. C, what is to raise the engines to maximum? T? No, it's not T. I'm disable the RCS. Is it G? H? A? No, it's not A. I'm confused. I don't know. But I'm actually going to wait till we get to the apoapsis. That's at about 107,000 meters. This right here is at 59,000. That's close enough to the planet that the atmosphere will begin slowing us down. And I do want to push this out a little bit farther so we don't end up entering the atmosphere and coming back in. But that is basically what you do to get in orbit, guys. This has been an awesome episode. I think a little short. In fact, give me a second to check the time. 11 minutes and 29 seconds so far on the recording. I did have a little bit of a rough start, but we're in orbit now, which is great. So just an overview for you guys. To get into orbit, you want to fire your engines up as soon as you get high enough, as in you've left the first or second layer of the atmosphere. You want to start doing a gravity turn, essentially pointing your ship to, ooh, there's my mail client. Oh, I forgot to mute alerts, didn't I? Lovely. That was my phone, actually. I'm sorry. Okay, back to what I was saying. You want to launch your engines up, and then you want to, what was it called? Oh, again, you do gravity turn, and then you want to fire engines in the angle that you want to go to. I choose a 90-degree turn because it is an equatorial, or an equator, an orbit at the equator, which will make it a million times easier to get to the moon. You can point it at 180 or 270 and get the polar orbit, or you can point it at the, or not the 180, the 90, the 180, the 270. You can point it at 90 or 270 and get this orbit right here, or you can point it at the 180 and 180 or 360 or 0 essentially, and you can get a polar orbit. So that's how you get an orbit in a nutshell, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to show you how to refine the orbit now really quickly here. I'll show you how to refine the orbit. When that gets close to the apoapsis, I'm going to go ahead and slow down the simulation. Let's retarget this. This one crashed 3. And we're about 58 seconds out. This orbit is looking a little bit wonky. We're about 58 seconds out. Now what you do is you point your ship towards where you're going. Towards your, I forgot what this is called, your direction of travel, which is this yellow thing. And as you approach the apoapsis, what you want to do is you want to fire, and as you fire engines, the exact opposite side of your orbit will be affected. So as we can see, this is getting pushed out as there we go, we've hit 100,000 meters there. This is at 105, this one's at 116. So you just play around with it. You go around in circles until you get the perfect orbit. But as you can see, we are now in orbit. We have put into orbit our first ship. This is awesome. And our little friend over here, Billy Boblin, he's not having too much fun. But there it is. There is space in all of its shady, graphic-y glory. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this particular video. I'm pointing down towards the planet, which is why it's really lagging out now. But thanks for watching, guys. It has been great getting into orbit with you. We are on the dark side of the planet now, actually. That's why there are no lights. But I will speak to you all next time. In the next episode, we are going to hopefully get our first set of communication satellites into orbit, because that is part of the mod, is communication satellite systems. We'll re-enter with this guy to see how the parachutes hold up, and hopefully everything will go according to plan. Anyways, guys, my name is Phil, and I will see you all next time.